Okay, now the beginning of the song, or the intro, is a guitar driven introduction, and it uses a very interesting chord, okay? It's an E open chord. It's this. Now that chord is what's called an E sus2 sus4. S-U-S means suspension. So we're going to take a simple E chord, and we're going to add the second note of the scale, which is F sharp. That's here. So we don't need the third because we're putting the second. That's an E sus2, all right? But then we're also going to add the sus4, which would sound like this without the 2. Okay, this note. So now we're going to have this note and this note, and we have this. That's a sus2 sus4. Now here's just the sus4. You can hear the difference. Now listen to this. Little subtle difference with that note. Okay? All right, and here is just the sus2, and then here it is with the sus4. Okay? So we start out with this chord voicing, and what it is open 6th string, open E, and then the first finger, index finger, on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. I'm going to put my pinky finger on the 4th fret of the 4th string, and I'm going to put my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Now, the thing about this little move that the guitar does, it's not very difficult, but it's tricky. So it's something you're going to probably have to practice. But it starts out like this. So it's quick. And I'm using all downstrokes until the last note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 notes. So on the 5th note, I'm coming up with my pick. So I go. So I push through. Okay? Then what I'm going to do is the next part, I'm taking away the sus2, and I'm going to play a regular major third. Now, I don't need my first finger anymore for the second measure. I'm going to go like this. So I'm going to keep my pinky down because I'm going to need that in a second. So it's like this. Now, you could just do that. If this next part is a little more difficult, don't worry about it. But what I'm hearing is I'm hearing this. So I take my middle finger and I put it on C sharp, which is the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. I hit that, and then I hit my 4th finger. I hit the 4th string. My 4th finger's still down. And then I hit the 3rd string. My 1st finger's still down. So I have, that's the 2nd measure. So we got, here's the 1st measure. Here's the 2nd measure. Okay? And it does that quicker. And then the second one is a little more nebulous. There's a little more going on. You could do the same thing again, or you could do something simpler. And you don't need that 2nd finger. Because when you listen to it, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of layers to this song. But what I'm trying to flesh out is really what the guitar is doing. So that's the introduction. Now, when we get into the next part of the introduction is we just have a regular A major chord. Now you can play an A2 if you want, which is, the A chord without the 3rd finger. The 2nd string is open. And then we're going to play a B chord, but it's really a B sus4. A lot of people play this and they call it a B, but it's really not. It's easy. The B is like this, okay, and that's kind of what the sound is, but we're going to do this and keep that open sound going on. We're going to play our 1st finger, index finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret, our ring finger on the 4th string, 4th fret, our pinky finger on the 3rd string, 4th fret, and then we're going to play the 2 2nd and 1st string open. Now, when you play that E, that's this sound. So that's like a B sus4. But it's got that nice kind of open string sound. So it's, And then I hear the bass playing this G sharp. So what I did was E with a G, like for the 4th beat. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 4, and then we're here. We're in that sound, that E sus2. But sometimes you're gonna hear that in there. But if you just play this E chord with the sus2 in that section, you're gonna be fine. just to go over these chords, these two extra chords in the introduction, is we have an E with a G in the bass, G sharp in the bass. Now you could do this. It's kind of hard to get though. So I like this voicing where I have my E, my B, and then my E here again. So basically we just have the root and the fifth, and then we're going to put the third in the bass. Okay, so it's like, okay, that's a cool voicing. It might be difficult to get, and it's not imperative. If you can't grab it, it's not imperative. All right, and then when we do this E sus2, that's, you don't want this. And then on the fourth string, the pinky is going to stretch. So the pinky is on the fourth string, fourth fret. That's a big stretch. If you can't get that, the E chord's going to work just fine there, E major, okay? But I'm hearing that sound, and sometimes I'm hearing that sus sound that we talked about too. But there's a lot going on in there. But that's the introduction, and then of course it gets into the actual meat of the song after that. So once we get over the first four measures, which is that lick, then when we get into the strumming, it's a lot of arpeggio, kind of like. So you just kind of let the chord ring, you hit it, and then come like with upstrokes on some of those other strings. And you hear that G, E with the G sharp for a beat, and then we're in here, you know. And again, I'm playing like arpeggios. And arpeggio is when you hold a chord, but you're playing the individual notes of the chord. You know, and again, you know, what is exactly, every exact little nuance of the arpeggio that he's playing, I didn't get, but you definitely have, that is the crux of the introduction to this song. So that kind of creeps its way into sometimes on the E chord of this, but it's not necessary to play it other than, I think, in the introduction. Okay, now in the main body of the song, there's some interesting voicings. But the good news is most of them you can play with a kind of open sound. You don't have to bar anything, really, in this song. Now, when the vocal starts, the first chord is a B major that you know, we were playing that kind of sound, that B sus. It's still that chord, but it has a D sharp in the bass. So this third and fourth finger, we're going to change our fingers. We're going to play those same two notes. We're going to put the first and second finger on that. Still have that B sus sound, but we're going to put the D sharp in the bass. And actually, I don't really hit the open E, so it's more like, if you hit it, it's okay, but you know, you're just more arpeggiating the other notes. That's the first chord, and then it goes to a regular E major, and then back, B with the D sharp, so it does that. Then we have a C sharp, after it does that twice, then we have a C sharp minor, but instead of doing this, we're going to play the open, okay, that sound. So that's like the first finger, not barred, just on the fifth string, fourth fret, my ring finger on the sixth fret of the fourth string, my pinky finger on the sixth fret of the third string, and my second finger, middle finger on the fifth fret of the second string, and then the first string's open. That's C sharp minor. Then when we go to B, we're going to play that, we're going to play it this way again. Then we're going to go to A2, and actually what you want to do when you go to A2 is you just want to slide these two fingers down. I'll show you why. Okay? Because we're going to slide them back up for G sharp minor, which is here. We're going to play that open. So we're going to take these two fingers, slide them up to the fourth fret, take our second finger and put it on the sixth string, fourth fret. The fifth string is dead. We want to lean against it and deaden it. That's G sharp minor. All right. It could be a bunch of things. You know, if we add that E, which we are adding, that's kind of like what G sharp minor sharp 5. You can also think of that in some sense as an E with a G sharp in the bass, but in this case it's a G sharp minor sound. So we have C sharp minor open, B open, open B, A2, Now, when I play this along, I might do this. I'm just kind of used to doing that, and then come back. But you can slide that and make it easier. It's up to you. And then G sharp minor to A to the G sharp minor, and we hold it. Okay. Then it comes back to here and just repeats. And you play that whole section again. And then there's like 4 bars interlude where there's no guitar. It's just kind of like an interlude in a song, like a pad. And then we start on C sharp minor. We go to A, which we can play, you know, open A. I play it like that sometimes. And then G sharp minor, again, A, E. Okay. Then we have the E with the E2 with the G in the bass, which when I play that, that's a different section. It's like this. But you could do this too. It's 6 and 1, half dozen the other. But the E2 with the G sharp in the bass is like this. You don't need the first string. So I got my second finger on the 4th fret of the 6th string. The 5th string's dead. My 3rd finger is barring, you know, 3 strings, but you're only going to play 2 of them because you're going to put your pinky on the 2nd string. And that's all on the 4th fret. That's, okay? Or you could do, like I showed you, the E with the E sharp. You just do that again. You practice that. That's going to be totally fine. C sharp minor again, A, E, all that stuff. So those are the chords. I'm just looking down. I'm looking down a little bit because I want to see if there's any other chords. Yes, there are. We have an F sharp minor, and we could still play that F sharp minor with an open sound. We could either do this. So that's this, you know. But we have, which is really technically an F sharp minor 11. And I have my 3rd finger on the 5th string, 4th fret, pinky on the 4th string, 4th fret, 1st finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, open, open. Or do what I did for the G sharp minor, just, I like that sound, F sharp minor 11, to G sharp minor, to A, to B, open sound. That's it. Those are the chords in this song.